We now continue our European tour by turning to Belgium, a country that has become one of the fastest movers in e-invoicing and is now accelerating its national rollout. At the heart of Belgium's journey is a simple but important question. Why is e-invoicing so critical to the country's digital future? And the answer goes far beyond compliance. Belgium's experience offers lessons that many countries can learn from. To take us through this journey, please welcome Serge Libert, project manager at the Peppol Authority of Belgium.
Thank you. Hi everybody, thank you for having me today. Actually, I feel a bit overwhelmed by all the information that I have had in the previous speeches. What struck me also was the pressure of Belgium on Germany. What's going on in Belgium, Beate? So, let me give you a bit of an update of what's going on in Belgium, the Belgian journey. So maybe first of all, maybe I can present myself. I'm Serge Libert. I am working for the federal government for about 23 years now. In the past, I've been working for the private sector. Now 13 years focusing on e-invoicing. I'm working for a federal public service that focuses on digitalization. It's kind of digitalization agency. And with the recent evolution, our agency is kind of supporting the tax administration, who has the leads for the regulation around e-invoicing. And what I propose is that I give you maybe a little bit of the vision behind our policy and our journey. Then I give you the key milestones and the perspective for the future. And I will tell you a little bit where we are with what I call the Belgian segment of the Peppol network, because Peppol is a network, and then you have national segments. So we have a little bit of a dive on that, and have a word about the Big Bang strategy, because it's a bit the central part of the Belgian experience for the latest evolutions, and what are the issues with that, and where we are, of course, handling them. So let's go with the vision. Like I was introduced about that, I think it's important to place the invoicing. Yeah, of course, you from Finland, you are, and in general, the Nordic countries are pretty much advanced in digitalization, but it's not a general reality for the rest of the world. A lot of other countries, not only in Europe, but I will speak for Europe, are have it pretty difficult to take the train of digitalization, if I may say so. And it's specifically difficult for the small structures, of course. Beate has told the statistics for very small enterprises. In Germany, in Belgium, it's pretty much the same. I think it's even more. One-person enterprise is really the norm in Belgium, and these guys, they don't have the same possibilities to get digitalized properly and at an affordable cost. So, bearing this in mind and bearing the very important, the criticity of digitalizing our economy, let's have a look at what makes invoice so special for this. Well, the picture says it. The invoice was quoted the queen of documents. What does it mean? It means that it's bit at the corner of a lot of different processes that rule our daily life, the business life, but not only the business life. Even as a citizen, we receive invoices. Quite often, I am a father of 4 children, and I receive a lot of invoices, and I would like to have in the future something to help me, like Hanu explained. We don't have that in Belgium, so we receive all these invoices on paper, or something that really looks like paper. A PDF is just another kind of paper. There's no automation into this. So you see all the processes that are connected to the invoice, and it goes, well, people don't think about that, but it's very important also for the financing of the economy. An invoice is kind of money. So I will not go too deep into this, but it affects our banking and financial sector quite importantly. The legal aspects, now that we have that mandate in Belgium, we are called by courts of Brussels and other cities to come and explain us how it works, because the courts are very conservative. They are used to paper, and it's not so easy for them to get to that new reality of digitalization. So when a court calls you to get explanation about the invoicing, then it really means something in terms of boosting digitalization. So it's a very big challenge, it's an endeavor, it's a big opportunity, but there are also a lot of things to take into account to make it work. So it's a balance that we have to find. And that's why I asked this additional quote. Actually, when you roll out the invoicing at a national level, yeah, it creates kind of a nationwide systemic change. But maybe I don't really have to tell that to Finland, because you are already much further in your rollout. I think that the way how each country rolls out this reality is, of course, very situational. I have explained in Belgium what was the reason. Maybe I did not go enough into the lagging behind that we see. We see really that there is a very critical situation where we really need to do something, and we cannot waste time. And having a free adoption, voluntary adoption system has, of course, a lot of benefits, but it takes time. It takes much too much time. And it is also not easy for the IT sector to handle that long period of time that they have to assign resources to support the businesses to move on to invoicing. I'll come back to that on the slide about the Big Bang. Now I have a few slides about the Peppol network. I will not be too long about that, but I think it may be very complementary of other visions that you have seen. You see always the four-corner model, but I think this, and that's the basics, but here what I try to put in picture is that behind that four-corner model, you have something that is much more powerful. You have a network with a certain topology that really scales without limits. And to visualize that, I had to switch from 2-dimension to 3-dimension, where you see the business level. That's the blue, the upper blue ring. And if the purpose is to get all the companies around the world, I would say, or at least at the level of a full country, fully interoperable, it goes without saying that we need a certain topology. So we need that second ring, that kind of circle of trust, where the operators, they make themselves their own network. And this subnet is, this backbone of the network is supporting the business level. But the most important thing is really that the end users, the enterprises between them, they really create a network. That's where the network is actually. We tend to focus, especially as Peppol authorities, on the service providers network, but I think the end users network is also a network as such, and it's the most important thing in the construction. It really makes, the Peppol construction makes that seamless network feasible, and it's not so easy to get this achieved. But then we have this second level network, the backbone, as I said it, the ring of operators. Even there, you can see that to serve quite illimitedly the amount of end users, and we have now 3.5 million end users, but potentially there is no limit to that. We also have to have a construction that scales, and that subnetwork, currently we are already 1,000 operators at an international level, 125 are active in Belgium. And there again, we are speaking about a network that is about 10,000 or 20,000 or 30,000 operators. That is possible thanks to the Peppol network topology. And how is it possible? Thanks to a third network that nobody sees, nobody hears, and we don't speak about it, but it's the network of the Peppol authorities. By creating that governance network, we really create the foundation of all the rest. Of course, we don't intervene at operational level. It's the duty of the private sector, of the operators, but we are there to support all these upper level rings to operate properly. And last but not least, then we still need a couple of central bodies, because as you see, the topology is pretty much decentralized, but we still need a couple of functions that need to operate centrally, like a central decision body, it's the managing committee, an operation office, change management boards to secure that the changes that are going on in the network don't break interoperability. We need a pretty complex structure of change management boards. And there are other bodies. It's not the purpose to explain them all. And the whole of these three sub-network, well, the technology, the governance, and the central bodies, they are all forming together the association Open Peppol. And that's also a very important part, is that there is also a legal construction around that that allows us to cooperate. Quickly, I will not go too far into this, but you see it's a pretty complex topology. We nevertheless ensure legal security of all exchanges thanks to framework agreements that we sign between operators and Peppol authorities, and between Peppol authorities and the central bodies. And that makes sure, I will not go too much into details, but that makes sure that any sender can be sure that the document that he's sending gets to the proper destination with a legal value. And it's not so easy in such a decentralized setting. And the Peppol authorities plays a role into this. The second slide is just the four-corner model. I will, again, not go too much in details, but you see the different steps of transmission of a document from the left side. The sender transmits the document to his operator, and then the operator performs a couple of lookups on the SML and SMP. And thanks to those lookups, he identifies the address of the destination access point, the destination operator. He just sends the document to the destination operator, and the destination operator is then responsible to forward the document to the end user. So this construction works perfectly in all possible scales. I think it was worth you showing this to kind of demystify how that magic actually works. Belgium journey, so that's the central slide. It's a bit of statistics. So a pretty small country, but with 11 million inhabitants. So the figures are a bit different from Finland. Very big country with smaller inhabitants. We have 1.2 million VAT liables, but more or less 2 million enterprises registered in the central registry. And the last statistic that I have about the volume of invoices per year is 1 billion, and 400 million are really B2B invoices, and 100 million B2G invoices. B2G, as you can see, it's a long journey, 13 years in e-invoicing. It started with a pilot phase for the B2G, business to government, which we then turned into a rollout phase to make sure that all our public sector entities are able to receive e-invoices. conform to a certain directive from Europe. And then a little later we went a bit further. We also obliged the suppliers to send these invoices, because when the receiver is able to receive but receives nothing, then it's a lost investment. So you also at some time need to motivate also the sender to send the invoices. And from end of 2021, our colleagues from the tax administration came to ask us for advice and support their decision to mandate e-invoicing. For actually, the main reason is the VAT gap. In Finland, you seem to have a very limited VAT gap. In Belgium, statistics are around 3 billion euro for a year, so it's a very important gap. That's the main reason why the tax administration has the competence and the willingness to do something, and that is why the domestic rollout has been organized. But at the same time, it is perfectly compatible with the digitalization objectives that I have explained, helping our small and medium enterprises to take the train of digitalization. So it's also in the picture. The law just mandates that all VAT liable entities must send and receive structured electronic invoice by 1st of January 26. So it's a big bang approach. Not many people know that, but it's a two-track policy. So the default network, we call that the royal way, because we are a kingdom, and our king issues a royal decree to officialize that. But that's just the default way is the Peppol network. It's also the no-brainer for certainly the newbies, you know, on e-invoicing, but for the ones who have made significant investments in the past, they still have the possibility to use their own infrastructure, but it requires bilateral agreement, and yeah, they take the risk, the cost, and the perils of maintaining these infrastructures, because it's not up to the rest of the collectivity to pay the price of this. It's really about giving them the time to move in the right way to a better standard, which did not exist when they started. So you see on the slide the evolution of the amount of documents that we receive on a monthly basis, and of course since December you see a big increase. I will come back to that. So now we are about more or less 30 million documents per month. 20 million of them are e-invoices. We are a bit behind what we were expecting, but there was a tolerance phase the 3 first months, so expect the figures to go up from April on. So we have a couple of projects in the pipeline. Of course, the e-reporting rollout, e-invoicing for tax administration is a phase in a bigger project. The e-reporting needs also to be installed, and that is in the perspective of the VIDA, of course. It's all the things that are put in place in the in synchronization, in harmony with the future VIDA regulation. G2B is also an important future development. An important element of coping with that evolution is the Belgian Service Provider Forum. The slide shows the evolution of access points who have enrolled with the Belgian Peppol Authority. It's not the only one who are active in Belgium, so there are also foreign access points. You see really Belgian access points are more or less 80, and there are more or less 30 to 40 foreign service providers who are also active in Belgium. And so we organize a service provider forum. There is a plenary meeting every three months, but there are also many focus groups who are dealing with difficulties and questions and evolutions to make sure that it continues to grow properly, and that the issues that are encountered are addressed. It's not just a solo play of the government. It's more we are trying to facilitate the discussion between the technical specialists, and they are all from the public sector. And that formula works quite well, I must say. Yeah, so you see here the list of topics that are on the agenda. Our next plenary is next month. And so we have focus group leaders from the private sector for pretty much all of these topics. That's the way we try also to secure that there are really good cooperation between all these service providers. I've seen that Germany has a bit different model, very interesting too. So I think that we can, after the conference, we can talk about these aspects and learn from each other. End users, you see the evolution. I think I need to rush because I'm out of time. The Big Bang, I think it was actually a request from the sector, from the enterprise to make it simple. And so that means that we had a quite difficult moment in December, January, February, but actually it went pretty smooth. The main drawback is that the people, they don't like to be obliged, and so they wait for the last second, and so it creates a lot of pressure on the sector. But the sector was willing to have that because they really need to have the critical mass to do the thing properly and effectively. So yeah, they chose for it. We did not really choose. It was not really our choice. Issues, yeah, go very quick into this. Yeah, of course, when you have such a big band, you need to address negativity bias. I just said it. People wait for the last second. There are also in the technology the same kind of reactions, but quite limited. There's a dramatic sudden upscale. I said it also, and then yeah, it creates technical debt around all these systems that are affected, and yeah, it needs time to work away all that technical debt. That also is a little bit the reason of this focus group setting, to be able to absorb this in the coming months. But so far, so good. It's a very nice experience, and it's also the start of something else. We see that clearly. Thank you very much. I hope I was not too long.
Thank you so much. Then we have time for one short question if somebody wants to ask something from the audience.
If someone else, I have time. Okay, thank you. Serge, what makes Belgium, for me at least, interesting is that you, in your legislation, mentioned Peppol. So not that many countries who have e-invoicing mandates define it to be Peppol. They say European norm and whatever, but not define it to Peppol. Can you explain why you decided to do that?
I think there was a consensus. We have discussed, we have consulted, okay, not myself, my colleagues from the tax administration, they had a lot of consultation with the enterprises, with us too, but first with the most affected public, the enterprises and the IT companies, and it was like a no-brainer. So they went for it. And I think we have heard about the problems of transmission. Transmission is a terrible problem. You can do something at the level of semantic with a good format, of course, but then you still need a transmission solution. You need that network that really connects the sender with the receiver without any additional question. And as far as I am informed, you need for that very specific architecture, the four-corner model, and with the governance that goes with it. So to make sure that the people, they follow the rules, because it's not a free network. It's a network with governance. And the only solution that is available is the Peppol network, so it's a no-brainer from that perspective.
One more question over there. Please, could you wait a microphone?
Sorry, yes. Hi,
Thank
Paul
you.
Anderson from Denmark. Just wondering, now where you have decided for Peppol for the e-invoicing as a network, are you also considering the Peppol network for EFGI from a government point of view?
For what?
For EFGI, the new EU regulation coming from next year, where each country has
EFTI. Oh,
EFTI,
yes. Well, EFTI regulation is pretty different. So if it is possible, if there is a demand from the private sector to use Peppol, it's perfectly feasible. And I think that the public sector would be happy to help. But from my discussions with colleagues from transport, they looks like the private sector, they have to sort it out by themselves. And there is no... It's a bit different than from e-invoicing. From e-invoicing, we really take a responsibility to make sure that it works also in the private sector, B2B. So we are very open to that, but we don't have the demand at this moment, unfortunately, I would say.
Okay, I was just mentioning it because in 2030 there will be a combination of information from the invoicing and the logistics part.
Yeah, I think that it will all converge, and I think that having a common infrastructure will create a lot of benefits, but the regulation does not really go in that direction. There is an implementation act that specifies how the public sector has to deal with the public exchange, the private sector with the private exchanges. And from my colleagues from the transport department, it's really up to the private sector to sort it out. So we are looking for contacts to implement that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the questions, and thank you one more time for the presentation.
Thank you.